Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Tori Vallen. I'm a women's integrative nutrition and lifestyle coach. I'm also a functional weight loss specialist. The Radiant Health Reset is open right now, but the door's closing. So for those of you who've been on the fence, the Radiant Health Reset is my signature program. It's where we address the exact root causes of things that we're going to be talking about today. Hey, Sarah! Sarah is in the Radiant Health Reset. So nice to see you, Sarah. Mwah! Good to see you here. We have women inside the container right now getting extraordinary results. And hundreds of women have been through this program as well. We had Michelle going back a little while ago who came along to heal her anxiety. Anxiety gone, energy came back, finally feeling like herself again. We had Karen who wanted to shift her belly weight that hadn't moved in years, no matter what she tried. She came along within the first 12 weeks, she got rid of her belly fat and she was so, so happy. We had Jo came along who wanted to get on top of her brain fog. She managed to do it without using coffee anymore. And she also lost some weight around her hips and her thighs and was able to fit into her favorite jeans. We're getting so many amazing results. We've got Sarah here as well. If Sarah wants to share with us what she's achieving in the Radiant Health Reset, you are so welcome to do that, Sarah. I'll share more details about the program and how you can join the program at the end. Stay with me because it matters. But until then, if you are just joining me now on the call, please let me know you're here. If it's your very first time watching one of my lives, I would love to welcome you to our group. Just comment new and I'll give you a proper welcome. If you've been here before, give me a little wave. Jenny's going to join us on the Radiant Health Reset. So good to see you here, Jenny. Yeah, if you watch me all the time, just give me a little wave or say hello. If you're here watching the replay, then I want you to type #replay. I love when people do that, and I can see how many people are catching up because maybe they're at work when I go live. Hi, Sky. It's really nice to have you here. Sky is new to our community. Beautiful. We're going to learn so much about cortisol today, Sky. It's a topic that so many women are wanting to learn about. So if you've ever been told to just, oh, maybe you should reduce your stress, but nobody actually explained what cortisol is doing in your body and what the definition of stress is and what you can actually do about it. Or if you feel like you've been doing all the right things for your health and just none of it's working, then this training is for you. By the end of today, you're going to understand what's actually behind your symptoms that you've been chasing separately and why all the conventional advice out there is making it worse for most women, and the exact order that's actually going to help you get things back on track for your cortisol rhythms. All right. So our topic today, high cortisol in women, the symptoms you shouldn't ignore. First thing I want to talk about is that cortisol is not the enemy. It's the rhythm that we need to get right, okay? Because here's what women have generally been told. You need to reduce your cortisol. Cortisol is a stress hormone and it's kind of the enemy. It's really bad. So you need to do some yoga and you need to meditate and you should breathe more. But maybe you tried some of that. Maybe it helped a little bit, but it didn't really move the needle in a big way for the things you were looking to overcome. Because what nobody told you is that cortisol is not the enemy. Actually, it's a beautiful hormone and your body can't function without it. Cortisol is what wakes you up in the morning. It mobilizes energy so that you can actually move and get out of bed. Cortisol also regulates inflammation. It's your body's own built-in anti-inflammatory system. Cortisol keeps you sharp and functioning when you're under pressure. Cortisol is designed to protect you. So cortisol is not a problem. Hi, Rachel. Great to have you here too. Sarah's saying 7 weeks in to Radiant Health Reset, never felt stronger or more energized. Wow. Move past an eating disorder to now nourish my body with lots of whole food. Hormones are regulating, body is rebalancing. Love the education. Tori is an encyclopedia of true and natural health. Oh my gosh, Sarah, that is incredible. Thank you so much for sharing how Radiant Health Reset is changing your life. You are amazing. Everybody wants that, right? All right, so talking about the fact that cortisol is not a problem, it's the rhythm that's in the wrong gear. Okay, so here's what a healthy cortisol rhythm looks like. It should be very high in the morning. That's called your cortisol awakening response, or your CAR, spells car. You want your car to drive fast in the morning. Cortisol awakening response. So cortisol's high and it drives your morning energy. So you feel like getting out of bed and making some breakfast and maybe doing a little morning workout. And then it should gradually taper throughout the day and be quite low in the evening down here, okay? So that you can actually wind down. You don't want to be super energized in the evening. You want to be winding down. It should be quite rock bottom, actually, at night. And that allows your body to repair and restore. So that rhythm is everything. And then as we're sleeping through the night, then it's going to creep up again gradually. But it shouldn't spike at 2 a.m. When it does that, everything starts to unravel. So what I want you guys to know, and what I want you to get control of and take the reins on, is you don't want to eliminate cortisol, but I think this is a pervasive myth out there. You don't want to eliminate cortisol. You just need to understand and restore the rhythm. And this is a completely solvable problem. And it starts with recognizing what it actually looks like, the symptoms, how it can feel in your body. Okay, so here's the second thing I want to talk to you about. There's a symptom cluster that you're not connecting to cortisol, and I want you to start to make that connection. Here's what most women do when they start experiencing these symptoms. They go to their GP with anxiety, or they go and see a specialist for their heart palpitations, their tachycardia, their arrhythmias. Or they'll go and see a dietitian for their belly fat, maybe not a dietitian, but they might start a new diet for their belly fat. They might try the keto diet or the carnivore diet. They might try eating less. They might want to go and do a sleep study for their 2 a.m. wake-ups. Do a sleep study. Maybe it's apnea. They want to push through all the brain fog because they're thinking, oh, well, this is just aging. This is just perimenopause, so I just get brain fog. That's just how it is now. But most symptoms get their own little appointment with the GP. And when they go to the GP with this one problem that they don't realize is interconnected with everything else, then that one problem gets an answer, but nothing actually ever comes together to connect. So there might be a medication that suppresses the symptom. Or if we're seeing someone more natural, a naturopath or something, we might get a supplement that supports that sole symptom. But nothing actually is coming together and interconnecting. But these are not separate problems requiring separate solutions. They're actually all coming from the same problem. Hi, Nicole. It's really nice to have you here. Thank you for saying hello. I don't think I've seen you here before. Welcome. Welcome to Radiant Health for Women 40 Plus. So what's actually happening is we have one problem, but it's expressing itself through different symptoms, kind of like going through different channels. So we get a symptom cluster of dysregulated cortisol, like belly fat that won't shift, especially around the middle here. Central adiposity is what I call it. And you might also, and it doesn't matter what you eat, it won't go away. We also get waking up between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m., might be 2, might be 3, might be 4, with this kind of wired, can't quite switch your brain off kind of feeling, like processing a conversation you had earlier in the day over and over and over and over again, or planning what you're doing next week in your sleep, planning what you're doing next week. So you wake up and that's happening already, and it's like you can't switch it off. Or anxiety that just seems to come out of nowhere and it feels very generalized. I call it biochemical anxiety. You can't pin it onto anything, but you're anxious. Might be heart palpitations, particularly in the afternoon and the evenings. You might have blood sugar crashes that are causing, or blood sugar swings that are causing an afternoon energy crash where you need to have a nap. A lot of my people who come to me in the Radiant Health Reset tell me about that. Like before Radiant Health Reset, I needed to nap in the afternoons. Or that might present as a sugar craving, maybe afternoon, after dinner, desperate need for something sweet. There might be brain fog, walking into rooms, forgetting why. You could have this kind of wired but tired feeling. I was talking about this the other day in one of my trainings, and I explained to people, I call that being twired, when you're tired but wired. Welcome. If you've just joined us, please say hi in the comments and let me know where you're tuning in from. So if you're wired but tired, I call that twired, right? Tired to the bone but can't switch off. That's part of this symptom cluster too. An immune system that just can't seem to get in front of things. You just catch everything going around, right? So how many of those are you? The belly fat, waking through the night, anxiety, heart palpitations, blood sugar swinging, so you have to nap in the afternoon. What was the other one? Wired but tired at nighttime. And the last one I said was immune system. You just seem to get everything that's going around. Oh, another one, poor recovery from exercise. Workouts at the gym just wipe you out. Do any of those kind of sound like you? Because this is a symptom cluster of dysregulated cortisol that I'm talking about. And they're not separate issues requiring a separate fix for each thing. This is your body telling you the same thing over and over and over, just in different ways. The message is your cortisol rhythms are dysregulated. They need attention. So when you stop chasing individual symptoms and you start addressing the system as a whole, then the symptoms all resolve together. So you don't really have a list of 10 things that are wrong with you. I understand it feels like that. You don't really have a list of 10 things wrong with you. There's one root cause expressing itself in all these different ways. There's one coherent path forward. I want you to type for me symptoms in the chat right now. If any of that sounded like you, just type symptoms, because I want to see how many of you are living with those things right now that you might not have realized they're all interconnected. Type symptoms for me. Just check it on my phone as well, because sometimes I can see comments come through on my phone before I see them come through here. All right, so now I want to share with you what chronically elevated cortisol, when cortisol is high all the time, which it should not be, because we established it's meant to follow a rhythm. But when your cortisol is high all of the time, I want to share with you what is it doing to your metabolism and your hormones. Because here's what most women got told: oh, your metabolism's just slowing down. Well, that's just because you're aging. Your hormones are changing. That's perimenopause. Nothing you can do about it. Why don't you just eat a little bit less and exercise a little bit more? That might take care of it. Yes, Nicole is with me. Sky is with me. Elle is with me. Yes, yes, exactly. And we didn't know that those things are all interconnected, but we know now. How empowering. And so when women get told, oh, well, your metabolism is slowing down and oh, it's just hormones changing, just eat less, move more. But the thing is, usually they've tried that And that didn't work. Or it worked for a little while and then it completely stopped working. So I want to talk to you about biochemistry, and I'll do it in plain language. Stay with me here because I'm concerned that women don't understand the impact on their bodies. Women are worried about the symptoms. Oh, I don't like how this looks. I don't like how this feels. But where I want your mind to go is, I don't like what this is doing to me, and it might motivate you to do something about it. So the first thing I want you to know is that having cortisol chronically elevated is raising your blood sugar. Every time cortisol spikes, it signals to your liver to release glucose into the bloodstream because your body thinks you're under threat. And so it's giving you some fuel. Here you go, here's some sugar so you can run and get the heck out of there or fight whatever this threat is. But you're not running. Usually you're sitting at your desk doing work and your body's receiving that as a threat. Nervous system's interpreting that as a threat. Or maybe you're just lying awake at 2 a.m. But because you have dysregulated cortisol rhythms and therefore dysregulated blood sugar, your body's given you this big release of glucose in the bloodstream because it thinks there's a big threat. Well, the glucose has nowhere to go. And so your pancreas then has to put out some insulin to try and help your body manage that because it's not very safe having glucose circulate around your body. It's very inflammatory. It's very corrosive. But over time, when that's happening again and again and again and again and again, your cells can't take any more insulin. They become insulin resistant. And then what happens with that glucose? Well, it has to be stored somewhere safe that isn't going to hurt you, and your body knows it's going to put it around your middle, because that might be an advantage, having an energy source really close to your organs. Also, it's kind of safely stored away, except it's not that safe. But it's the best your body knows how to do when it's under-resourced. And that's why you can eat beautifully, all the best foods in the world, and you still won't be able to shift that central adiposity, or the belly fat is another way of saying it, which is visceral fat, because it didn't have anything to do with what you're eating. It's to do with your cortisol, right? So the other thing I want you guys to understand about what cortisol is doing to your bodies, cortisol actually breaks down your muscle tissue. When you have chronically elevated cortisol, it's catabolic. Catabolic means it's breaking things down in your body, including your muscle. Why? For fuel. It's a good idea. It'll help you survive. The problem is you don't have a tiger that you need to run from. And when you have less muscle on your body, then you have a slower resting metabolism. Your body isn't going to burn as much fat when you're resting as it would if you had plenty of muscle on board. So that means the same type of foods that you were eating 5 years ago, which didn't cause you to gain any weight, now you eat the same stuff and it makes you gain weight. And this is why you could be eating less than you've ever eaten in your whole life and you could still lose weight. Sorry, you could still gain weight and not lose it. I also want you guys to understand that cortisol is suppressing thyroid function. It's suppressing your thyroid hormone conversion. Your body's going to struggle to make free active T3 from T4. Chronic cortisol suppresses that conversion. This is an on-purpose thing. It's not because there's a mistake or there's something wrong. If your body's under threat, the last thing your body wants to do is have a really fast metabolism. So your TSH could look normal though. If you go to the doctor and your doctor says, oh, I see you're having struggles with weight and maybe you're a little bit tired, well, we'll have a look at your thyroids. But if they only look at your TSH, that could look completely normal, but you could still be struggling with low thyroid. That's why so many women are told your thyroid's fine, but it's not fine because we're not looking deep enough in labs, okay? The other thing I want you guys to understand about what cortisol is actually doing to your body is it's competing with progesterone, which is a beautiful, lovely, calming reproductive hormone, because those two hormones share the same receptors on our cells. And when cortisol is chronically elevated, that means it's going to block progesterone from getting into the cell. And if cortisol is your beautiful, calming, sleep supportive, anti-anxiety hormone, then chronic cortisol is going to make your whole hormonal picture look significantly worse, isn't it? Because your body can't take up the progesterone into the cells where it needs it. And this is why so many women coming into perimenopause, where progesterone is going to be declining anyway, we have less on board anyway, then add into the problem that cortisol is chronically elevated and taking up our receptor sites. No wonder there's anxiety, sleep, and mood deteriorating. Okay? So your metabolism isn't just mysteriously being horrible to you and betraying you. And this isn't perimenopause, the total disaster of perimenopause, and there's nothing we can do about it because it's perimenopause. This is the downstream effect of when we have dysregulated cortisol rhythms and chronically elevated cortisol. Everything I'm talking about has drivers, and the drivers have root causes, and the root causes can be solved. So if this is connected, if you're starting to connect a few dots here, type dots for me, big capital letters, DOTS. If you're starting to connect a few of the dots and go, that why, haha. If you're starting to see how this all fits together. Now, I want to talk to you guys about what's actually driving it so you can do something about it and what actually helps. All right? What's actually driving it? Well, it's probably not what you think. Good. Good. Yeah, Jenny says, I want my progesterone to be working at its best. Well, Jenny, the great thing about that is you've joined a Radiant Health Reset. And so it's just going to happen naturally as part of the process. Jody's typing dots. Fantastic. All right. So when most women hear high cortisol, they think, oh, I need to stress less. Or they think, maybe I need to meditate more. And what I want to say to that, Nicole's typing dots too. Yes, I'm so glad that this is coming together for you guys. So yes, mental, emotional, psychological stress is absolutely a cortisol driver, but it's far from the only one. And for a lot of women, it's not even the one that's the worst for them. It's not even the one that's the biggest for them. For a lot of women, factors like not eating enough, yeah, because if your body's not getting enough fuel, like protein and carbohydrates, it interprets that as a threat. And then cortisol comes up because it's trying to mobilize energy for you. Okay, so under-eating, over-exercising, yeah, especially women who are hammering themselves at the gym thinking that they're going to lose weight that way. Exercise is a physiological stressor. Too much of it is going to elevate your cortisol. Blood sugar instability by eating an imbalance of when your meals are very unbalanced, or the stress that's triggering a blood sugar spike as well. Every little spike is adding a cumulative cortisol load. Crappy sleep, and yes, I know this is a chicken and egg situation with the crappy sleep. You're like, yeah, but my sleep's crap because my cortisol's high. My cortisol's high because my sleep is crap. I know. That's why we just have to chip away and we kind of work on all of it at once. It's okay. But crap sleep, I have to mention it because crappy sleep is adding to elevated cortisol levels. And inflammation, number 5. Okay. Plenty of women have inflammation that is creating high cortisol in their body because they've got an imbalance in their microbiome. They've got unresolved food intolerances. They don't have to live with those. You can heal those. They've got infections they don't know about. So they've got lots of physiological stressors on their body. And your body responds to physical stress the same way it responds to emotional stress, and that is with cortisol. Same. So whether it's mental and emotional stress or whether it's physiological stresses like the ones I just mentioned, which are also chemical stresses on the body, same. Your body's going to respond the same by increasing cortisol. So if you think, oh, I can't do anything about my stress, I can't do anything about my elevated cortisol, yes, you can, but you have to address all the factors. Okay? And I just want to say a little word about supplements, right? This is really important. Write this down. You can't supplement your way out of this problem. You can't, okay? So I'm empowering you guys now because you're understanding cortisol, elevated cortisol that shows up in all of the symptoms we've discussed, has identifiable root causes. Cool. Okay. And I can fix the root causes, but be careful because the wellness industry is going to tell you that you can fix it by taking ashwagandha or some other adaptogen blend. Here you go, just take these drops. There you go. Or here you go, take this, or use this meditation app, and then the stress will drop and you'll lose weight. There are so many MLM companies right now that are cashing in on the high cortisol thing. And people hate it when I say that. I think it's because there's a whole lot of women out there involved in MLM. That's fine. I'm not trying to take away your income. What I'm saying is it's only part of the picture and it's never going to work. You can't supplement your way out of this problem. Those things have their place. 100%. The stress drops or the balance drops or whatever they're called. They have their place. But they're never going to be the whole solution to the problem. Okay? Because there's an order, there's a sequence to solving this, and this is critical. This is why you can't supplement your way out of the problem. Step one, you actually have to remove all the stresses that are keeping your cortisol elevated. So you've got to stop under eating, and you have to stop the ridiculous over-the-top exercise that you're doing. I'm not talking about sensible movement that's appropriate for your stage of life. I'm talking about when people are hammering themselves in the name of burning calories, right? And you have to stabilize your blood sugars, and that's through eating properly, balanced nutrition. You have to address the gut, and you have to prioritize your sleep, right? So that's step one. And then step two, you can start to bring in some supportive interventions. If you choose the MLM drops, okay, we do it differently in the Radiant Health Reset because we're using food primarily, but we do use a little bit of wise supplementation with particular minerals and nutrients that have been missing from the diet for a little while. But we also use other interventions because guess what? You can supplement with meditation, and you can supplement with walking, and you can supplement with breath work. People forget about we can supplement with sunshine and fresh air. People forget about all the other things you can supplement with. It doesn't just have to be a pill or a capsule, all right? So the mistake that women are making is they're reaching for supplements and adding those things in first while they keep up the undereating and the stupid over-the-top exercise where they're really hammering themselves. And they're trying to run on no sleep at all. And then they wonder why it's not working. And they go, I spent all this money. I invested all this money in these supplements. Because you're trying to put out a fire in your body while you're still adding fuel constantly. So you can't supplement your way out of this problem. Okay? What do you do instead? You do the things I named about. You eat more regularly balanced meals. You address all the inflammation. You heal the gut so you don't have the microbial imbalance that's contributing to the physiological stress. You stop over exercising, okay? You get your foundations right, okay? So cortisol is not an enemy. It's a beautiful hormone, but a dysregulated cortisol rhythm is causing you problems. So it's about the rhythm. It's not about cortisol, right? And the natural rhythm, or having that, the dysregulated rhythm has real identifiable drivers that you can address. It's just that most women are never taught what they are. And I'm actually not okay with that. That's why I'm here giving education every single week, week in, week out, sometimes multiple times a week, because I'm not okay with the fact that women don't understand how their bodies work and they don't understand their biochemistry and they don't understand their physiology. That's why I'm here. So I want women to understand that the belly fat and waking up at 2 in the morning and living with anxiety and brain fog and exhaustion, that's not random. And those symptoms are not inevitable and you do not need to live with them. And it's not just perimenopause or it's just menopause, nothing like that. This is your body speaking to you in a very consistent and specific language. And now you're starting to understand what it's saying. So when you address what's causing this in the right order, then your sleep gets better and your belly fat begins to shift and you don't have the anxiety anymore and your energy is stable, predictable, supportive of you. And then your hormones, like your progesterone and your thyroid hormones and your metabolic hormones that are helping you regulate your blood sugars, they start working with you. And this is exactly what we do in the Radiant Health Reset, my signature program for women over the age of 40 who are tired of chasing symptoms and they're ready to start addressing the root causes and look at the whole system in the right sequence. Inside Radiant Health Reset, we work through the blood sugar regulation and we restore metabolism. We support good cortisol rhythms. We restore the whole hormonal axis. We heal the gut. We bring down the inflammation. So you'll get good hormonal foundations in place for supporting your progesterone, your thyroid hormones, and your estrogen balance, sleep and nervous system regulation. And we do it in a stackable order that works and you get lasting results. So women who are just like you are getting incredible results. Like we had beautiful Rebecca or Beck, who completely changed her body composition. So many centimeters lost off her waist. She overcame all of her hormonal digestive symptoms that she thought might have been menopause. Now she feels completely confident to leave the house in a cute little cocktail dress. We have Sam that just joined us, lost almost 3 kilos in the first 2 weeks. She's feeling so motivated because that's 3 kilos of inflammation and fat she's down. She doesn't need to carry around with her anymore. Yes, absolutely, Rachel, no worries at all. We've got Francine. When she came to us, her size 12 shorts were tight on her. She's now putting on her size 10 shorts. 12 weeks in. Isn't that just phenomenal? If you are ready to stop guessing how to solve all these problems and actually start working in harmony with your body, I want you to comment Radiant in big capital letters, and I will personally send you the information to join this program. You need to do it quick though, because the window is closing. All right. Our intake is open right now, but it's closing in the next day or so. We start on Monday. All right. My final thoughts for today. It was never just cortisol. Cortisol wasn't the problem. It's your body doing exactly what your body's designed to do with the information that it had. Now you've got better information and that changes everything. All right. Thank you all for joining me. Love you all. I will see you all next Tuesday. Don't forget, comment Radiant if you want more information about joining us in the Radiant Health Reset. I will see you next week. Bye now. Okay, Jody.